The van rattled forward, its engine grumbling like an old beast as it traveled along the endless spread of countryside highway. Sunlight bounced off its chipped white paint and the glass of the rear window, glass so covered in dust that it blurred the world into a smudged, hazy smear. Inside, 8-year-old Marina Hale sat curled against the corner, her heart banging against her ribs like it was trying to escape her tiny frame. Her wrists trembled as she clutched a wrinkled piece of paper, her final attempt, her desperate gamble. She lifted the note toward the window. 2 words she hoped someone, anyone, would see: kidnapped. Help. Her fingers were numb from fear. Her knees scraped. Her throat dry. But Marina refused to let go. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind: courage doesn't always roar, sweetheart. Sometimes it's a whisper, a shaky hand doing the right thing. She pressed the paper against the glass, praying. Outside, the road stretched empty, shimmering under the heat. For a terrifying moment, it seemed the world would stay blind. Alone. Unaware, then she saw them. 4 bikers, black leather vests, chrome motorcycles parked on the side of the road, their silhouettes bold against the sunlight. They looked like figures carved from fire and steel. Marina held her breath as the van drove past. 1 biker looked up, then another, then all of them. Their faces changed: shock, anger, recognition, hope sparked inside her small, terrified chest. The riders of the road. Grant Maddox stood with boots planted firmly on the gravel. 60 years old, broad-shouldered, marked with scars and time, he was the respected leader of the RIG Ahorn Riders Motorcycle Club. His salt and pepper beard caught the gleam of sunlight as he squinted toward the van. He saw her, the girl in the window. The paper trembling in her hands. Beside him, Silas Draven, towering and muscular, head shaved clean, froze. Rowan Vale, calm and sharp-eyed, narrowed his gaze, and Briar Leon, youngest but fiercely loyal, inhaled sharply. No one spoke. They didn't have to. This was not a moment that needed words. It was a moment that demanded action. In less than 3 seconds, helmets were snapped on. Gloves tightened. Boots slammed onto pedals. Engines roared like thunder, waking the earth. Marina felt the vibration of motorcycles shaking the air. She twisted toward the back window, hope lighting her face even as fear tightened her throat. Inside the front seat, Trevor calling, the man who stole her from the sidewalk hours earlier, muttered angrily to himself, unaware of the storm forming behind him. Trevor was not a monster by birth, but by choices. A man consumed by his own loneliness, anger, and delusions. Marina had seen him trembling, sweating, muttering to himself. She didn't understand him, only feared him, and now that fear sharpened as the bikers drew closer. Trevor stiffened when he finally noticed the speeding motorcycles in his mirrors. What? No, 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 he snarled, hitting the gas. The van lurched forward, but the riders were faster. Underscore 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 underscore. The chase. Grant took the lead, leaning low on his motorcycle as wind whipped against his vest. Every mile of asphalt, every vibration of the engine, fueled his fury. He'd lived too long seeing darkness win. Not today. He signaled with a swift hand motion. Rowan slid left, blocking any incoming traffic. Silas thundered ahead, pushing the van toward the shoulder. Briar stayed behind, making sure no innocent driver got caught in this unfolding storm. Trevor swerved violently, his panic making the vehicle unstable. Inside, Marina was tossed sideways, but she kept watching the bikers, watching hope closing in like guardians carved from steel. Grant sped up beside the driver's window. When Trevor glanced at him, the girl's fear was no longer a secret. Grant's eyes were blazing. It was not a look that asked. It was a look that promised. A promise of hell. Trevor panicked and swerved again, but this time, the road betrayed him. Gravel scattered, the van skidded, tires screaming. The vehicle slid sideways and finally jolted to a rough halt on the dusty shoulder. Dust exploded into the air. The chase ended. The rescue began. The rescue. Grant didn't wait for the motorcycle to fully stop. He leapt off and sprinted to the back of the van. Silas pinned Trevor to the ground within seconds, the kidnapper's screams muffled by gravel and justice. Grant reached the back door, his heartbeat pounding louder than the rumble of engines behind him. He pulled the handle, the door opened with a metallic crack, light flooded inside. Marina flinched at first, but then her wide eyes recognized the man from the road. The one who saw her. The one who didn't look away. She didn't think, she ran straight into his arms, her small body shook with sobs that wrung Grant's heart in ways he never expected. He held her gently, careful not to hurt her, his rough leather vest absorbing her tears. "You're safe now," he whispered, "I promise." For the first time in hours, her breathing slowed. Hope finally had hands. Aftermath authorities arrived quickly after a call from Briar. Trevor was handcuffed, furious but defeated. Marina was brought home to her mother, who collapsed into tears at the sight of her daughter alive. But the bikers, they stood outside their clubhouse later that evening, the sun lower, calmer, softer. Grant stared at the empty road, the same road where a girl's life changed forever. He'd seen violence. He'd caused some. He'd suffered through regrets no man could erase, but today reminded him of something incredibly simple. You don't have to be perfect to choose kindness, you just have to choose. Rowan patted his shoulder. Silas cracked a rare smile. Briar lit the porch light as dusk settled. They were rough men with battered histories, but they had light. A fierce, stubborn light, and that light saved a child. Story spread across town, some disbelieving, some amazed. People had always judged bikers by their leather, their noise, their scars, but kindness doesn't ask for good appearances. Sometimes kindness roars across asphalt on two wheels, sometimes heroes wear black leather.